EP of madness.
All right, here we are, episode 1, Gary.
Here we are.
Welcome to the Long Island Daily Roast with your host, Sally Oda.
Gary Lombardi.
And this is where we're just going to talk.
Yeah.
We're going to speak on things going on in the area.
Yeah.
And have fun with it.
Yeah. There's so much going on. And there's, I think people are going to enjoy what we talk about. And we can always receive questions, and we'll have different guests on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how about we start with this? How did we meet? And give them the time frame of kind of how, like, when we met. How this all came to fruition in such a short time.
yeah. So, out of nowhere. I mean, I don't think it came out of nowhere. I had an intention that has been out in the universe now for months. I've been a serial entrepreneur throughout my life, always creating something different. I was in the retail antique business. I was developed real estate properties in Philadelphia. I started a coaching business, life coaching and business, and then I always like to do something more. So I said, I'd like to do a podcast. There's so much to talk about. There's so many people that just, I think we can resonate with. And so I just put that out into the atmosphere that this is what I'm looking for. I need a good partner, someone that we work well together. We can utilize each other's assets. So I think the intention was set that I always had my eye peeled for, coming across someone that has the same interest, and bring that together. So one day I was just walking, I was out with a friend, and we were walking in Seacliff, Long Island, and coming up these hills, and we went into a little novelty store.
Mm-hmm. Dreams East.
Huh?
Dreams East.
Yeah. And there, you were walking out and I was coming in. And you had a nice smile. And I smiled. I was with my friend, went inside. And something said, and I went back. I said, I don't know, something. I said, let me talk to this fella, And that's really how it started. We started talking. I said, I've had these ideas and so on and so forth. And here we are. This is like we met once before, and now we're beginning. We're setting it up. So this is our inception here.
Yeah, and I'll never forget too. That same day, the first question you asked me was about my cell phone.
Yeah.
We were talking about let's see which one.
Yeah.
The 12 Pro Max, and he kept asking me if I liked the size of the phone. And I speak on everything, so I really didn't pay too much. I didn't go too much into it, but we were talking for maybe an hour about the pros and cons of the cell phone. And now look, he got the phone.
Same.
He got the phone.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And so I knew I was due for a new phone, and I wasn't sure about the size and the weight, but I love it. I love the graphics. I love the 5G, and you get used to it. So here's the phone.
And it's funny because I kept telling him, don't get the big phone. I said, I want to downsize. I want the smaller phone.
Yeah.
But listen.
So that's an Apple product then?
Yes.
I wasn't sure.
This is the 12 Pro Max.
The 12. So this is the
you
13.
have the 13.
Yeah. Does that have 5G?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so they're great. I love them. Yeah.
So part of what we want to do here, right? We want to incorporate things that are going on that we hear on, Glen Cove Neighbors. Did you hear about the catalytic converters?
No.
There's people going around.
I see a lot of on your neighbor here. What do they call that site?
Glen Cove Neighbors on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it.
And car thefts and all sorts. Yeah, crazy.
It's insane. There's a lot of big money in those catalytic converters.
And I'm just wondering that if it's something that's been going on periodically, or is it because there's more stuff online that is coming to light for us?
Yeah.
They do that, and then a lot of people, then they get on and they start muddying up the waters, talking about politics and and getting, a little nasty at times. Then people get on, this is not a place for this and all. And I say, so hopefully it simmers down.
Yeah, it needs to. I think we're due for, there's too many people with too many different opinions.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely causing like a division in the world, and we definitely got to get down to that at some point.
Yeah, well, there's surely a division.
Yeah. So for everyone watching, don't worry. This will not be a political podcast. We're not going to go in depth on controversial ideas and beliefs. We're going to keep it to a minimum and kind of talk about the fun stuff. Gary, in the short time that I've known Gary, the stories that he told me were just incredible, and and there's a big age difference here. What I have to learn, he already forgot. So, and at the same time, we're very like-minded. I'm 23, and you're 69, right? He'll be 69.
69.
So, he's been through things that I haven't even, had the opportunity to witness myself, and I'm building up to get to that point where he's already done this in the past. So, we have some pretty cool, pretty big differences as far as what we've been through and seen. And
yeah, which is okay, but what's great about you is, and I've had partners before that were half my age, actually. My last partner in real estate was half my age, and we did business successfully for over 10 years, and we're still connected and have investments of sorts. But we did renovating, buying of apartment buildings, renovating and renting. But I always said, and like with you, I think you're an old soul, because the first thing I look for is, reliability. I mean, there's some key things. We all have something to impart and share that we've learned. There's things that you technologically bring to the table that enlighten me tremendously, that help me out. And I'm sure there's some experiences that I've had that you'll find enlightening.
Yes.
But and that's what, with my old partner Doug, or still partner in a limited capacity, we had that connection and we worked with that connection together. I think I mentioned this to you in the past. We utilized each other's. We brought it together and made it one. So yes. So we'll see where that. I'm sure that'll.
yeah, I mean, the problem with me and Gary is we have too many ideas. So we'll be at the table sitting, spitting ideas, and we'll come up with one idea and it'll branch off to 40 different outcomes, which is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas. So, it would be interesting to hear from you folks and what you'd like to talk about, because there's so many subjects that we're enlightened on and have a view on,
Definitely. And I think through time, with your guys' support, of course, leave a comment down below. Like, rate, subscribe. It helps us tremendously. We're just getting started now, so it's going to be, we got a long road ahead of us.
Yeah.
Definitely do. And we're willing to take the journey.
Sal, I like that. So this is our beginning, and this is what we're talking about, is beginning entrepreneurs and business partners here, that, it is the beginning of the journey, and the key is to just keep putting one step in front of the other, keeping a positive attitude, making adjustments when necessary, but never turning back and giving up on it.
I look at every step as a brick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at a house, how many bricks are on that house? You got to start somewhere. There is an end goal to everything, especially with, a lot of young entrepreneurs that are watching this right now. You need to keep going at what you're doing, and you need to be persistent. You need to be consistent. You just need to keep going after those goals. I remember when I worked 5 years in the union, and I was telling Gary, I would go to work every day and I have no purpose. And, I don't want to knock anyone who still has a job, a 9 to 5, whatever the case is, but, some people, and I say this about myself, but I don't think, I think that some people just aren't destined to have a job. They need to work for themselves. I come from a family of business owners, and, they've all done the struggles. I'm going through the struggles now. I've been in business now for a year and a half, running my own thing. And I'll tell you what, you wake up some mornings, you don't know where your next paycheck's coming from, but that chase is what I think entrepreneurs live for, is I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will. And as
Yeah.
long as you keep that forward motion, you'll get there.
Yeah, so I think that's an interesting topic for a lot of people. I think we can create some inspiration. I like that. I personally like to hear from inspiring people, and I think that there are people that enjoy and also get enlightened by listening. So I think that is extremely. A lot of people are, and we're in an age with all the problems in schools and not going to school and just Shark Tank and all this. We're in an age of people going out and creating. The wealth is going to come from the creators, coming up with ideas, something new. And that's what entrepreneurship is. But you know what? Everyone's not cut out for it, and it's okay, like you were saying. But the thing is, there are some key factors that do play into being an entrepreneur, and that maybe we should just touch on a little bit of that, as you did. But continue on that, because you have to be a leader.
Yeah.
And that's like key. And you got to be a self-leader. You can't lead others if you are not, disciplined yourself. Where if you, make a plan and say, this is what I'm going to do, you do it. You're disciplined. And those are some just basic stuff. And then you get into ideas and what to do. And then also always being open to what your weaknesses are.
Yeah.
We all have weaknesses. What am I not as good at? Do I need help? That's wonderful, and you reach out. That's why I know that to do something in a podcast like this, that I work best with a partner. I work best with someone to bounce back and forth off of, and also to bring what I bring to the table and what someone else brings, like we're coming here. So yeah, I think that subject. A lot of young people today, they're a bit lost. In my coaching business, I'll show you actually. The people reach out to this site that I'm on, and what they're looking for, and people looking for, and some of them in their 20s, 30s, looking for, new career. I've done it for so long. I'm bored with it. I need something new. How do I get there? I'm hearing this undercurrent of wanting to get their footing. They're like almost, a lot of people just feel a bit vulnerable in the world and lost. And they're looking for, they see, huh?
They're looking for guidance.
Yeah, and they see people succeeding. So they're saying, and if they have not had a good mentor. Well, we all learn from mentors, whether it's direct or we read, but so a lot of underlying basics to that subject. And this could be a very interesting subject to a lot of people.
I mean, for everyone in the Long Island area, I actually attended the Long Island Entrepreneur Conference last year. It came up on my Instagram page through an advertisement. The whole story on how that even came into fruition from their end, it was 5 people who organized this event. And they organized in a short term of a month. They got big names like Grant Cardone, Michael Burt, Tim Grover, all the biggest names in the industry. And they organized it in 1 month, and the place was packed. They got, it shows 2 things. One, you can do anything. As long as you set your mind to it, you can get it done. Second, it shows that there's people in the Long Island area that want to make a change, that aren't happy making that 1 sale a month. Whether you're in real estate, mortgage, if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to close the deal, the problem I had starting up was...
Go ahead, continue.
The problem I had starting up was pretty much, I looked for guidance and I thought that looking for guidance was going to change my whole view on, how I was going to continue to make sales and grow.
You went to this meeting and you were looking for guidance?
I was looking for guidance.
And how long ago was this meeting?
I want to say, this wasn't even that long ago. I think 8 months ago. 7-8 months ago I went.
Okay, and this was a gathering of people that were going to speak on entrepreneurship?
Yep, like-minded individuals.
So like-minded, so isn't it so interesting that you had your antennas out in the universe also looking for that we're coming to bring together here.
We were going through, some hardships with one of our companies. We managed 3 companies in the group that I'm in. One of our companies, we needed guidance on how to continue to, bring in revenue and, stay consistent, cover our our losses, create more consistent revenue, better clients. And I went to this and, I heard Grant Cardone. Listen, Grant Cardone's amazing. Tim Grover is amazing. The one guy that was there that really put an impact on what I went there to hear was Coach Michael Burt. If you guys don't know Michael Burt, look into him. He's been a life coach, a sports coach for the better part of his life, and he continued to talk about prey drive and how prey drive in animals is the same as humans. You could throw a stick. You could be playing with your dog, playing catch. You could throw that stick in the middle of the ocean, and that dog will go to lengths, cold or hot water, sharks in there. He'll go in there to get that stick, and he won't come back until he gets the stick.
Yeah.
And it's the same with humans. People look for guidance, and like I was saying before, I went to this thing to look for guidance. And in the end, I realized that no matter who tells you what to do, if you don't take what they tell you and put it into your own world, nothing is going to change. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
But it is a good beginning you're right, you have to take action. And you got to make it happen. You got to walk the walk eventually. But it's good to get that direction and get the ideas, whether you get it from reading or parenting or some mentor, someone that brings, and then you have to get yourself where you have enough. I know when I got into different areas, especially into the real estate, I spent 2 years, but I burned with, I put it out there that everybody I ran into, my mind was set that I was going to meet, because here I was, this was in 2008, and banks weren't lending the banks, the economy was off, and here I was in New York, so I thought about different things I could do with real estate, buy single family homes, renovate them, and I have to get a crew and stuff to do that. But then, you know what? People weren't getting mortgages. So I said, well, that idea, they're not buying houses, they're foreclosing on houses. So, so to speed it up, so the idea came, but I reached out, I spent 2 years, but every day with this burning desire, with my antennas out, that I needed to meet the right people to get involved with, because not all the real estate was going to be in my backyard. And eventually was a couple of states over. But I went to different states and met and talked with different people, but I stayed, and I would burn and I would read, because, in the law of attraction, I think you saw, I have some books on that, and I think we looked at, we talked about this, that, we attract what we focus on, but I found that what really attracts is what we fuel with our desire. That desire fuels your thoughts. So eventually it came about. So you have to take the steps.
So now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you get more out of succeeding, or do you get more out of getting to where you need to be?
You know what? I think probably not more, but maybe just the process of getting up, of knowing that I'm going to take on a challenge, of knowing that, I'm going to succeed one way or the other. I don't know the answer yet, but I'm going to try. And that makes me feel great, in the sense that, you know what? I can survive in this world.
Yeah.
I can survive, and I don't have to, whatever's going to come my way, I may like it, not like it, but I'm going to take it on, and I'm going to survive. So, and I say it confidently, because I look back, and then when I've achieved the goal of buying our first property and renovate it, it was wonderful and I loved it, but it was said and done when it was done. But that process, I got up every day, I felt like a man.
Yeah.
I had something to do, and I connected with a partner, and we had conversations, and we had to stand up to our conversations and be accountable for our words to each other. That was very important in partnership. Very important. That your words line up with your actions. So, and we did that. Yeah. So To answer your question, I think just to know we can survive. I think that's what it's about.
Yeah, I agree with that. For me, it's like, I had this thing when I had first left my job. My company was making, 5 digits a month, and it was like, I couldn't believe that this is something that I created, and I got to be honest with you, the day that I left my job, and it's not a very easy job to leave. I know a lot of people out there, like, you're stuck in these jobs because everyone tells you have a good job, you have a good job. At the end of the day, listen, you could work 20 hours a day, you could work 150 hours a week. At the end of the day, you're only making your boss rich. You know what I mean? For you to have that, for you to have that thought in your head that, maybe I'm young, it's never too late, young, old, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. If you have this idea that you want to bring to life, yeah,
Look
exactly.
at me. I don't want to lay back. I could lay back. I have a few dollars, nothing grand, but I have a few bucks. But you know what? That's not the answer.
A lot of people think, though, that it's impossible.
Yeah.
A lot of people wake up and they're like, that could never be me.
Yeah. So you know what? I don't know if we into religion when we talk about this, but I attribute it to my faith in God also, that He inspires. When you ask for inspiration, to continue moving forward. What do you want me to do next, Lord? What do you want me to do next? So yeah.
So when I left, I would, I was taking Cardone University, great program for 30 to 40 employee businesses. Definitely look into it for your sales reps. It's honestly game changing. The strategies that they taught in that university was excellent. But in that university, I saw this thing about managing goals, setting goals, and I came to this thought. I'm big on notebooks, and we haven't got to that yet. But I have my girlfriend's in the background. She could tell you. I got about 50, 60 notebooks that I write in. And my idea is, I have a notebook for every idea that I have. I have one main notebook that's like 300 pages that every time something comes to my head, I'm writing it down. And then I would subdivide it into these littler notebooks. So on the big book, I would say the black and blue book with the white stripes has this business on it. And it would separate it like that.
Yeah.
But there's one book in particular that I go to almost every day.
Yeah, it's
and
journaling.
I set my weekly goals.
Yeah.
So I set 10 goals for myself.
Yeah.
Whether it be, put $1,000 in your savings account. Go to the gym. These are just goals that it trains your brain to stay on a course.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a problem a lot of people have is they have an idea, they start getting sidetracked, and then they forget about what they had to do.
A big challenge for people. They come up with this dream, and it's built on a faulty foundation. And once they have to walk the walk on a sandy foundation, it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to make an excuse for yourself, and that's the pitfall. And that's why a lot of people need trainers. When they join a gym, they need a trainer to go to. That's what coaches are about, accountability coaches and things. But that's a big problem, and they procrastinate. I know people like that, and unless they're forced when I say forced, unless they're cornered, somehow they've gotten involved and they have to do it. Other than that, they just don't do it on their own. So that's a big challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Definitely.
And that, yeah. So that's what I've done in my coaching also, that the people that, they have it. They have the answer. But they just need someone to just keep pushing a little bit,
And now what do you think on, as far as when you do set those goals? Is it okay to be ambitious, or is there too much is it possible to be too ambitious?
Like, what do you mean?
I was big on realistic goals,
Realistic goals.
Realistic goals. I remember when I started my entrepreneurship, I said, you know what? And now this is, I'm guilty of this. I woke up that morning, I said, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire, in 4 months. Yeah, it sounds great when you tell it to yourself, but in the reality is, 120 days really isn't that long of a time for you to build an empire. You know what I mean? So when you're setting those goals on a weekly basis, set realistic goals. The best part of setting the goals is checking them off. So do your laundry, fix your bed. That's 2 goals you killed for the week already. it trains your brain to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, so to stay with that and answer the question, yeah, I think you can make goals unrealistic. And I think it's a good idea. You have to really think, you have to, that's what the wishful thinking comes in. And people, it's just like, you got to know for yourself also what you're really capable of. That's a hard thing, to be able to own up to yourself, to say, you know what? I'm not a doctor material. I don't have what it takes, whatever it is. I don't think I do, to put in that kind of study. I just don't know, the mathematics, the physics, the chemistry, whatever they have to do, the reading. It's not. We're not all cut out for that.
Yeah.
Some people are cut out for that, but they don't have other skills. They don't have leadership skills. Okay, so where were we with that?
We were talking about overambitious. And
Yeah.
Just to stop you 1 second, Gary. There's a 30-minute timer on there. It's gonna stop the video, and then just make sure you turn it back on. So where are we at?
25:54.
All right. So keep
Can
an
we
eye on it.
pause this thing and then go start again too?
Yeah.
You can do that?
Of course.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I want to
you
keep
can
this.
edit too,
Yeah.
take
of
out?
course.
Oh,
But we're not gonna.
No.
We're gonna keep it nice and raw.
Good.
We have nothing to hide. We're speaking
Good.
on.
All right.
Right
Good.
off the top of our heads.
So stay with that a second.
So like
yeah.
the main thing is like there's your dream.
Right.
Your dream is your end goal.
Right.
But the goals are designed to make that dream and come to reality.
So you know what? So having a bunch of factors in place. Is this something? Do I have the qualifications, the overall qualifications for what I'm looking to do? Okay, I'm artistically inclined. I'm a leader. Whatever it may be, you got to be realistic with yourself. But then I think it is important to set out a big vision out there, but to know that I'm going to do step 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, whatever it takes. But there's a lot of steps to get to that point. I remember my father telling me when I was a kid that he says, concern yourself about your future out there, but then go to work today. Go to work today, and you have that, and then you adjust too. As you're walking the walk, you make adjustments accordingly. That's what it's about. And not to be if you're so rigid, that's a fear base. If you're so rigid that if you go out of line, then there's something wrong then with you and yourself, that you can't rely on yourself, that you're gonna, if you do it wrong, you're gonna everything's gonna fall apart. You gotta be able to be flexible too.
Yeah, and not skipping those steps. There's those hurdles that you need to get across, and a lot of people, they see this hurdle that seems too tall, and what do they do? They either turn back or they try to go around it. That hurdle is gonna come at some point. You're gonna have to cross it. So facing your fears, and really believing in yourself is key, because I've been through times, and I'm sure you have too, where you just feel like you have a lot of people in your ear, and this is something I want to tell everybody. There's a lot of people out there that want you to fail.
Oh, thank you.
There's a ton.
There is envy, jealousy. It is a real problem. It just is. It's a sad situation.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes from your family and friends, which is the sad thing.
Family and friends.
They're your worst.
Family and friends.
The person who doesn't know you from a hole in the wall will want to know more about you. The people that know you don't want to see anything happen.
We got stories about that subject too. You're so right within families, and I can remember we'll go there at some point. But yeah, envy and in the family, you say, how could this be? They should, So I always admire that family unit that I see, brothers and sisters. They're supportive of each other. I think you know Joel Osteen, right?
Yeah, Joel Osteen.
His brother who is a surgeon who volunteers in Africa and does work, but they have they're just just for each other, and there's people like that, and I think I think that's instilled from a very young age from your parents. I think at a very young age, they take you by the ear when they see you fighting, and they distinctly lay it out and say, that's your brother, that's your sister. I want you to always love each other and be for each other. You'll have different goals and visions, and one is not better than the other, okay? But I want you to always be there for the other one. And every time they go out of whack with that, you bring that up again. You train them from a young age.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
I agree. And the sad thing is, you know, even after those talks, now I know we come from old school Italian families.
Yeah.
So we know how. Good? It stopped?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're rolling again. So to touch on.
It's rolling?
Yeah.
Okay.
So to touch on Italian families, I know there's a ton in Long Island. You know, it's rough. You know, you have off the boat parents that, you know, they came here with everything they owned, and broke their back, you know, for a couple dollars. And my father in particular, I have nothing bad to say about him. You know, he's taught me everything I know, but, you know, he's very, 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 very tough on me and my sister. You know, whenever I came to a hardship with my business, it was always like, you see, this is why I always told you, go get a good job where you're secure, and you're gonna get those, you know. And I love my dad, but, you know, that's what keeps me going every day, is that burning, like I can't make them right.
That you can't make, yeah.
You know,
so you know what, and that's okay. You know, as long as you can separate it, say, you know, I still love him. I still see you've risen above. You're looking at it from his point of view. He loves you. He does for you. He wants the best for you. But this is what he is capable of, and it's okay. You know what? I'm going to do what I need to do for myself, and that's what makes a man. You know what I mean? That I'm going to, you know, and if that gives me more motivation, there's a lot of people that have grown up like that to say, I can prove you wrong and do it differently. But yeah, you know.
You know, I think the fear of failing is what keeps me going every day. Is, you know what? I know if I fail one, the people who want me to do bad are going to be laughing. That's one thought I can't sleep at night with. You know, I can't. So when I wake up every morning, I think of all those faces.
Where did you get that from? It's so true. Where did you get this learning from?
It's just the way I've, you know, come to think is, you know what? There's going to be people out there that don't like you regardless of how much good you do.
You consider yourself an insightful person?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah. You know what? It's one of the biggest things that I've had to contend with, and I'm just so blown away by how envious people are. You do well, and they feel like they got to take you down. I've walked away from friends I've known a long time. You know what? If you're not for me, that means you'd rather see me. You got to come be able to say, you'd rather see me fall on my face. That'll make you happy. So, are you a friend? You can't be a friend. That's not a friend.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know what? I don't need that. I'll make myself my best friend. Me, God, and whoever else wants to be my best friend, and we gotta have that for each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I try to sink that into my sister. You know, I had a very tight friend group my whole life.
What do you have? One sister?
One sister.
How old is she?
She is 18.
So she's younger.
18.
Yeah.
She's gonna be 19 in August.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Your sister.
Yeah. So you know, she always used to come around with her friend group was 20, 30 people. You know, it's physically too big of a group for something not to be going. You know, something's got to be. There's drama. That's a whole community of people.
Just like the Facebook thing, they have friends.
Yeah.
I got 1,000 friends.
Yeah.
Like,
how many of those people you talk to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I had a very tight group with. You know, we were very ambitious. I've even opened up businesses with people that were in my friend group since elementary school. You know, we've between handymen. You know, we started so many different companies. We were selling lemonade. You know, we were doing it all. You know, we were having fun doing it. But you know what? They were like-minded. And
you're lucky that you came across that.
But at the same time, us being like-minded at such a young age, knowing each other for the past, you know, 16, 17, 18 years, there still came a time where our roads crossed and we had disagreements. And I gotta say, like, I had a friend group of maybe 8, 9 people that dwindled down to pretty much the partner that I have today and one other friend. You know, one of them has, you know, we grew up right next door to each other. We knew each other since we were 4, and we've been successful in business in the last 3 businesses that we've come across. And, you know, that's just something out there. Like, don't trust everybody. There's someone out there that doesn't want you to do well, and it could be your best friend.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's the same people that bring you up that can knock you down even harder.
Yeah.
So
that's why I love faith. You know, not having that. You know, yeah, it's so true. You have to. You know, yeah. So you got to be. Cautious. It's a shame, but you know.
It's just the world we live in, which is.
But you know what? If you find that's a good thing to foster good people.
Yeah.
You know, there's enough for every freaking body. There's enough. You know what? There's enough.
They're printing it every single day.
Yeah, there's enough money to be made. There's enough money to share, and you know, yeah.
So I think that's very important for, you know, up and coming young entrepreneurs. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Like I said, we're just going off. We have nothing written out. I promise you, we're just going off top of.
And you know what? This is a good way because I feel, you know, sometimes when you write it, you got to stay with it. You start choking. Yeah. You know, here that the truth comes out, and then one thing stimulates to the next. And I think so far, I'm curious to see how our.
I think we did pretty well.
I think we did. You know,
write down in the comments below how we did. We'd like to get your feedback. As far as production, everything will get a little neater. We'll have, you know, microphones on us, so you'll hear a little bit better in time. Like I said, this is one brick. We still got plenty more to set. So, what else do you want to touch on?
You know, I don't know. We can take a look at this now and see where it's at. Sign off on it and go from there. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah. So we'll end it here then. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Daily Roast. We hope to see you next week on our episode 2. Let us know how you did in the comments below. Leave a comment, rate, subscribe, and we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Okay, take care.